Welcome to Silicon Valley Impact. Brought to you live from the Opal Summit in Napa Valley, California. Please give a warm welcome to your host, Brian Sparks.
All right. Brian, thank you so much. That never gets old. And we are in Napa Valley. We're at the Opal event. We are doing Opal Spotlight, and you are about ready to hear from a ton of interesting people. And if you were with us at the Opal Spotlight event in San Francisco, you remember us interviewing many of the great people. But first, I want to welcome you all to Silicon Valley Impact. I'm your host, Brian Sparks. The purpose of this show is to have honest conversations about what it takes to build great businesses and communities so that you can make an impact within your own. All right, Brian, you ready to do this?
I'm super stoked. It's great to be here in Napa. We want to thank everybody here at Opal for inviting us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're very excited to be here. You know, we're in a different room and things are kind of like buzzing. There's lots of people here. I'm very excited.
There's a lot of day one energy.
Day one, first thing in the morning, we're all coffeeed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Let's do it.
Well, I want to bring in the man that has made this possible for us to be here and is leading Opal and a lot of the events that's doing all over the world. David Liebowitz, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, Brian. Let me start again by thanking the both of you for being willing to come back, do this podcast, and really bring a lot of value to our clients. You know, giving the stage for them to really talk about what they're doing at the moment. And you mentioned impact, which is something that we're really trying to promote within our events right now. Given, you know, things that are happening with the current administration right now, we want to ensure that we're a little bit different from everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, I want to have people here who are really making a difference in their community, using their wealth to invest it in the right way and really enlighten other people as to what they're doing.
Yeah,
so.
I like that. And so you guys are doing this all over the world, right? You're putting these type of events, and for those who are just joining us for the first time and didn't hear our podcast when you were on before, it's not just Napa. It's the East Coast. It's all over London. It's all over the world. We're going to be down in Dana Point in a couple months, and so be sure to check out my post. I'll have links for that event. You're not going to want to miss this. If you're in startup, if you're investment, if you're a VC, family office, all those things, you're definitely going to want to be down there, and you can find those links in the show description. But David, talk a little bit about. You mentioned a little overview about the impact that Opal is making, but real quick. Tell us what Opal is, and then I want to ask you specifically about this event.
Okay. Yeah, Opal, we're a financial conferences company, and really at the end of the day, we are a connection agent for what I like to say is we just bring together good people. Our business model, you know, how we make money is we bring in LPs, so those are generally family offices, ultra-high net worth investors, institutional investors, really those who are looking to grow their portfolio, invest, so you know, they're going to have money for their families a couple of generations down the road. And then we have our paying clientele, our GPs, so our startups, venture capitalists, money managers, vendors, who have people looking to work with these ultra high net worth individuals, maybe raise capital from them. Mm-hmm. So in a way, we're benefiting both parties because there's so many great VC PE firms out there that are working with fantastic founders, people who are really making a big difference. And these family offices can basically help them make that difference by providing them that capital that they need to really invest in these founders and get them going and, you know, get a good return on their investment, but more importantly, just make a difference in the world with what they're doing. And our program really also depends heavily on community. I think that's what separates us from a lot of other of our competitor events. You know, we try to foster and develop communities in every city where we hold an event. So, for example, in Napa, you know, Brian, I met Marianne last year. We fostered those connections, grew them, had you come to a couple of events. And now, you know, when we come out to Napa, we basically have everything ready and set for us. Just a quick phone call. Hey, Brian, we're going to be in Napa. Come out, do your podcast. You're going to bring some really good people with you. Marianne.
You can't get rid of me now.
Yeah, we can't get rid of you now. Marianne, give her a call. She's always willing to, you know, help us out and do an event, and they use some after parties. And it's really having those connections with good people that, are going to help us out, and we're happy to help them out. And I think that our clientele really see that, and it really fosters an atmosphere of family within our
That's
events.
great. I love it. And so I got to ask you, and then my last question to you is going to be about the event, but I got to ask, what is it, you've been doing this for a while, what is it about building these communities, having conversations with these very successful people and connecting them to impact opportunities? What is it that you love most about what you're working on? Because you've been doing this a while, and you're so good at it. You're always available, and there's people constantly pulling at you for connections. How do you do it? What do you love about it?
It's making those connections. It's being, when you're a people person, it's listening to people's stories and just finding that right point of how they want to connect. And it's learning a lot about people and making these connections. And I consider everyone really that I meet a friend and wanting to help them out. I'm the type of person that thinks if you do nice things for people, they're going to do nice things for you. They'll appreciate that. I think human nature just is that way.
Yeah, it comes back to you, right?
It comes back to you. Sometimes it's a bit naive. There are people out there that take advantage of it. For the most part, it's people out there like yourself who have things come back. So I think that's what's been the biggest thing, but also just meeting like amazing people. We had General Petraeus at our event in Napa. We had him in the Hamptons. So I was like, I never thought watching him on TV like 15, 20 years ago, I was going to be like having a conversation with him. We're going to have Warren Buffett's granddaughter in Dana Point. Chris Webber's going to be there. Like, these are people that in my life I never thought I'd ever meet.
He's going to be this coming?
Yeah, Chris Webber's going to be there in Dana Point.
So one of my, you talk about the people you got to, I got to meet Patrick Willis last year. I'm a big sports fan. Brian, I don't know if you know that about me.
No, I know this about you.
Okay,
You get a little...
I get a little geeked out.
Yeah, a little bit. That's
Yeah.
great. I like that. I think that's cool. I mean, I heard Chris Webber. I'm down.
Yeah.
100%.
So you bring together these great people who are very down to earth, looking to pay it forward, essentially, and it continues to grow over the years. So I really got to, hats off to you guys for what you're leading and what you're creating there. And again, to our audience, if you're not involved with this yet, you're not fully engaged in the global community that Opal is really creating around wealth and good people. I should have led with that. It's really good people.
Good
I really
people.
do.
Yeah.
I mean, just being here for the second time, the quality of, not the quality of people, but just the kindness and the openness, right?
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
And to your point, like Brian, it's just building that relationship with people who are going to give back. Like, I have a lot of people such as yourself, such as Jason, Marianne, who are sending me emails because you meet good people out there and you talk about Opal. So it's like you guys are taking time out of your day to talk about us. So you're doing your job for my job for me out there. You're like, hey, you're meeting people. Hey, have you checked out the Opal event? The best thing for us is if we get sponsors, you meet a VC firm and they're like, hey, we're in a raise or whatever. Oh, great. Have you checked out the Opal event? They're really great events, something you might want to consider sponsoring. Yeah. I know it's gonna work out for you.
Yeah. And so here we are in Napa, and we're talking about wealth management. What do the attendees and everyone who's kind of coming together in this community have to expect from a weekend like this? Because the themes are always a little bit different. But this one is wealth management. I think there's a subtopic, but it's mainly around that. What should be one or two takeaways from this?
Well, one of the biggest takeaways, obviously, because we're in Napa, is a big tech component. A lot of people out here made their money in tech, so it's something that they really wanted to talk about. But it's really coming away with some really good insight from the panels that we have and connecting with a lot of good people that you're going to see at future events. Mm-hmm. So I really want people to walk away with, I guess, what you call bathroom talk. People in the bathroom like, oh my God, did you hear that last panel?
Yeah.
It's really something that hit a nerve. And we just started, actually having these breakout sessions now for family offices, so they can talk about things that are really at the core of the issues that they're facing. Because yes, a lot of family offices come here, they want to talk about investment, they want to talk about how to grow their portfolio, but they also want to talk about family issues that they have to deal with.
I saw that. They're going to be talking a little bit about multi-generational trauma, I think, even at one point. And you guys are doing a lot of yoga stuff. I mean, you just introduced me to a lady who's going to be, she runs the family office, and she said to me, your body is your business, number one. And that just stuck. That just resonated with me.
It's a hard lesson to learn.
Yeah. So she'll
It
be
is,
here.
yeah. We don't.
We take it for granted as long as they're running properly.
Yeah, we do take it for granted, and a lot of these family offices, I like to say, they're not immune to the problems that you and I face. They just have 6 or 9 more zeros in their bank account, but sometimes that can be even worse because if they have some kid with a health problem or an issue, they could throw all the money in the world at it, and still it may not make a difference. And when you realize that I've done everything I could. There's nothing else I can buy, nothing else I can pay for, and I still can't make a difference. It's it's a hard reality to face.
When you have your health, when you're in good health, we all have our problems. You can have 99 problems.
You got 100 problems when you're healthy.
When you're healthy, but when you have health problems, you have one.
Yeah, one problem. And people forget about that. Everything melts away when you have a serious health issue.
Yeah, no matter how many zeros.
Yeah.
And
so that's a good
I also am looking forward to the morning meditation tomorrow and the next day.
Yes.
I don't know, was that your idea? Whose idea was that?
That was, yes. We started working with a founder who works with ultra high net worth individuals, and she actually does microdosing. Her name's Pohong
she's
Yu.
a microdosing guide.
She's a microdosing guide, yes. And no one's going to go on any trips here or anything like that. I know. Sorry to burst your bubble, Brian.
Why am I here?
There's going to be no trippiness here. But we thought, listen, morning before, it's nice to get out, have a meditation, just get yourself centered, get yourself into the flow.
Yeah.
And again, it's another cool thing that separates us maybe from a lot of what the other family offices other events are doing.
We're all running around doing what we can to keep all the balls in the air all the time, and to slow down for a minute to care for ourselves and our health and our mental health and our physical health. I think sometimes it can get lost in the shuffle. So I want to say congratulations to you guys for keeping that top of mind.
So real quick, really appreciate you kicking off the show for us. And we got a great lineup of people coming in today. How can people learn more about Opal?
Just check out our website, opalgroup.net. We have a full list of all the events that we have coming up. Obviously, listen to your podcast, Brian. Look at your posts.
Thanks, Dave.
You can check us out on Twitter. But really, the easiest way is just opalgroup.net. And just keep listening to the podcast, check it out. But that's the best way to learn. And if you're, we're going to be in Dana Point next. If you're down in SoCal, you want to come and check it out, December 7th through the 9th, we're going to be doing our Emerging Managers and Alternatives event.
But when you go to the website, just one last thing, when you go, there's a lot of other little events between now and then, right? I mean, you guys are constantly putting up events in different parts of the U.S. as well as the world. So you and I may see each other the next time at David Point in 90 days or whenever that is. But those of you listening all over the world, there's an Opal event going on near you. Check out the website. A lot of great stuff, a lot of great people. But David, once again, thanks for kicking us off, buddy.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thanks to everyone listening. And we hope to see you at an Opal event soon.
Yeah, enjoy the show.
All right.
Good, thanks, man.
Do you feel better now?
And we're ready to roll. Are we live?
We're live, man.
Okay, game face. Okay, the adults
are
here
here now. Oh, you know what? I forgot to push that, but now we're going again.
Okay, the adults are in the room now. Okay, well, we're continuing our conversations here.
Brian!
Here in Napa Valley. At the Opal event.
It's been so. I mean, we've been here. We've been going live for a couple hours now. Not just you and I, but the whole event, right?
Yeah.
And there's a big buzz. I mean, there's a lot of energy here.
I peeked in the main conference room, and it's pretty full.
Yeah,
and it's a big room.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jackie was holding court outside. Had people surrounding her, so we brought her in here. Jackie, good to see you.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm super stoked for this conversation.
I know. I was talking to...
We've only just started. We'll surely let you down.
Well, I got to talk to Brian. I got to talk to this Brian a little bit before, so I have like a little pre-stoke.
Oh, good. Wow, the pre-stoke.
It was. I even told her, I said, we need to stop. We need to keep the bottle on this. No. We need to keep the top on this, because once we leave the G down in the bottle, it may have lost it. But you and I had a great conversation.
Dude. Yeah.
You and I had a great conversation. I definitely want to ramp up our audience on what we were talking about. So before
first we need to say who she is.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So give a little intro into who you are and what you're working on.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Jackie Mirkopoulos, and I am second generation family office. And I also have a consulting company called Seven Neighbors, where we are basically like an ecosystem of different types of consultants to help support family offices, particularly G1 like tech founders, and also the G2. I feel like I can relate to them the most because I am a G2 person and I have a really good family story, and was very fortunate to have awesome parents and uncles to really steward us from a young age. So I have a very unique perspective in that sense. And I also come from a wellness background. So I had a clinical practice for 15 years. And as much as I didn't really work in the traditional corporate world, I worked on a lot of corporate bodies that, were working in the corporate space. So I come from an angle of being in family office and then also knowing the body so well and knowing what, running businesses and being founders and being executives, the toll that it has on the body, and really empowering leaders to bring their body on board in their leadership.
When you said you had a clinical practice, was that a Western practice or an Eastern practice, if I may use those terms to sort of define buckets?
Yeah, so for my clinical practice, I was a massage therapist, registered massage therapist in Canada, and also a fascial stretch specialist. And so I combined fascial work with traditional massage, and then also later in my career started to incorporate energy work and also mindful meditation to really give like a well-rounded and holistic approach to everyone's wellness plan.
Excellent.
So, so now I'm going to bring the audience up to speed of what we were talking about earlier. I said, so that's a big leap. I mean, but she's second generation, but that was a big leap. That story and now running the office at this point. And the thing I threw out to you was, well, don't a lot of these CEOs and these investors that you deal with, these families, they kind of say it's woo-woo, and you pushed back and you're like, not at all. Yeah. Jackie, go on that, because that's when I had my mind blown.
So a lot of people, as you said, when they hear stuff about that, their brain automatically goes to the woo-woo, and I'm here to tell people that it's not. It's very like real, matter-of-fact, 3D stuff that we're dealing with. And
can I just back up? Can we just say what the woo-woo is for people who don't necessarily know exactly what the woo-woo is?
What I meant by it is that it's dismissed almost as something.
As non-essential or non-scientific or just unimportant or frivolous.
I think a lot of people get in their head and they're very strategic. They're very focused. They're very neck up.
Yeah.
And then when you start talking about, like when Dr. John Baird came in and Leading with Heart, there's this stigma around it being woo-woo or being touchy-feely, and really a lot of, for a lack of a better term, a lot of the more immature CEOs and investors who haven't been doing this for generations will dismiss it as not part of the strategy or the playbook. But you're saying, what you and I were talking about is, being a G2, you've seen the value in this, and this is what blew my mind. Go ahead.
Have it here. It's not here.
This is what blew my mind. You said to me, "No, I've touched it."
Yeah.
You've touched the pain. You've touched the problem that a lot of these leaders and investors are struggling with, and you have the data. That's what fascinated me.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I literally had my hands on these bodies. So not only did I touch these pain points, but I also heard them. Just similar when, you go to your hairdresser, maybe that's more familiar for the ladies who are listening.
Not Brian.
Not Brian, no. People have this thing with like hairstylists that they go and it's like they turn into their therapist. It's very similar when you're working massage therapy and someone's on your table, like you're working on their body, but they're also sharing about their day, about their families, about their struggles. So it's like I heard it and I felt it, and I have 15 years of data points supporting that. And then also, if I speak a little bit more to the family office experience, one of my roles in my family office was, with my health and wellness background, was to take care of them, was to encourage them and help them and find strategies to make sure that they were prioritizing their health. It's one thing to have wealth and to have this big legacy and business, but if you're not healthy in order to be able to enjoy and to keep the wheels moving, then what's the point? So that was another role of mine where I got a lot of other data points of how prioritizing wellness and health in your family legacy is so important, and I got to see the results of that.
So hear this, Silicon Valley and the world. We have Jackie here who runs a family office, and part of her own venture fund as well. talking about the importance of taking care of yourself, because if you're not together, your business, your fund, whatever you got going on isn't going to be together. Yeah.
Correct. I always like to say your body is your business. So if you are leading from the neck up.
That's the t-shirt that I'm going to put together.
Yeah. Right? Let's say that again. Your body is your business. And there's so many leaders and executives out there that are leading, like you said, from the neck up. And I want to encourage them to get their body on board. This vessel that we have, that we experience life in, can provide us so much information, and society has conditioned us to be so disconnected from it. And I think that's another reason why people don't, the woo-woo that we mentioned before. It's also from our lack of education. People have been so removed and disconnected from nature and from our bodies that when you say something that's not logical, that's not like KPI driven, or that they can't see it in a spreadsheet, it's like disregarded. And I think that's also from a lack of education. And so I'm also here to help people bring them back home into their body.
Yeah.
This is our amazing vessel that allows us to create the wealth, to do the work, to enjoy life. If we're not taking care of it, we're missing a huge opportunity.
Yeah. I'm curious, where did you come here from today?
I came here from Toronto.
From Toronto.
I came yesterday.
And so I'm born and raised in California.
Okay.
Brian too. We have this perspective about where we live and who lives here with us. And often I think that this kind of conversation is fairly typical around here. But I'm guessing, do you go all around the country, Canada,
global.
US, global?
Global. I just came back from Europe as well. So,
are there people in certain areas that are more switched on to this topic, where they've already kind of got a handle on it? They've already got some momentum by the time you show up? I'm curious, like regionally, do you find this to be either country or region or something like that? I'm just curious if it's happening other places in the world.
Mm-hmm. I definitely think that different places of the world, people are going to have different relationships with nature, with one's body. But I even think that even those who understand this and can like logically make sense of these concepts, I still find that when I work with them, they're not fully embodied into what it actually means. And even more so than fully embodied, of really understanding the layers, and not just the physical, but the metaphysical, the nervous system. Like even within our bodies, there's a whole zip file of different areas of focus and different systems and operating systems that you want to have on board. So someone might be really tuned into their physical body, but completely disconnected from their organs and their emotional body, or their cyclical, more kind of circadian rhythm, natural system body, or from their nervous system. So it's not so, this part of the world, they're very attuned to this. It's like, there's a spectrum, and even when I find people that get it, there's always a little bit of a blind spot. And that's what I love doing, is I love going and finding what's the 5%. You understand this at 95%, let's explore the 5% and go exploring that and uncover what are the blind spots that can also bring you to a next level of your leadership.
Yeah, I love, and I see what you did there with the zip file. I love the analogy, by the way.
We're talking to the tech people, right? Like Silicon Valley, they're going to get that.
It wasn't lost on me. I caught that, and I know they'll catch it too. So you're speaking here at Opal.
I'm speaking on Friday on the Women in Wealth Leadership panel.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because that's just as important here.
Yeah.
You're definitely very passionate about that. When you and I were talking about it, you lit up, and then we went to the mind-body thing. But talk a little bit about what you'll be sharing around the women in leadership.
Yeah. So for this topic, what really excites me is we're, about to experience one of the biggest wealth transfers in history over the next 10 to 15 years, particularly into the hands of women. And so when we talk about women in wealth leadership, there's two ways we can look at that. We can be women stewarding wealth and being leaders in the wealth space, or we can talk about what it means for women in wealth. Like, how do we tap in and lean into this concept of what advantages are there? What's the zip file that we can really uncover when we start to look at that lens truly holistically? So what I'm going to be bringing to that conversation is similar to what I just said, is women specifically have been also very disconnected from their body in terms of society standards, need to look a certain way, suck everything in, wearing tight, compressive clothing. How do you make proper business decisions or be discerning in an investment deal or a family office decision you need to make if you are literally operating from a constricted place, right? That's another form of being disconnected from your body. So for this conversation, I want to invite people to, how do you become in such a collaborative relationship with your body? How do you unsubscribe from all that society's said that we should be doing with our bodies, looking, what we should wear? Unsubscribe from that and start to lean into the wisdom of our bodies. Start to lean into nature's blueprint that she has provided us as human beings. And in this conversation, we're going to be specifically speaking about women. And how do we unsubscribe and peel away all those layers that have been imposed on us so that we're not repeating history in a different outfit?
Do you think it's become more complex? I mean, when you're talking about what women, the example you gave about what they should wear, how it's compressed, it sounded like that's the more sexual look of the way women are expected. But it feels over the last 15 years it's become more complex. Like what they're supposed to be in the workplace, what they're supposed to be at home, what they're supposed to be, publicly. It's become more complex where it's like, where is the balance? Where is the health in that? I mean, am I naive from that perspective, or is there some truth to that?
I think there's a lot of truth to that. It is a bigger conversation, and it's more complex because as women are being asked to step into these multiple roles and show up in excellence, again, going back to my concepts of the body, if we are expected to hold all of this and to operate and have all of this grow, right? Women are multipliers, we're amplifiers, right? We're magnetic. We have that essence just naturally and innately. So if we're expected to do this, but we are literally operating from a constricted, tight place in our bodies, how are we even supposed to hold all of that? And so my invitation too is like, can we do it? Yeah, because we're badass. And how do we literally create more spaciousness in our physical vessels, in our energetic vessels, to be able to continue to move at the pace at which the world expects us to show up?
What do you mean more space? What does that mean?
I'm actually like physically talking about space. Like if you think of, there's the physical, again, the 3D matter of fact space. So I'll give you an example. We're talking about tight clothing. And as you said, it could be definitely seen as more of like the sexual appeal of how women dress. But I think it's gone past that. If you look at even workout gear, we were talking about yoga before we started recording. If you even look at the yoga industry and the workout industry, now it's become functional, compressive workout gear is no longer just being worn for that 1 hour yoga class. Women are literally wearing that all day.
Yeah.
And they're making it fashion now. And so when you have this tight compressive clothing, literally constricting your ability to take a full breath, like the simplicity of even being able to take a full breath. Women are wearing tight bras, put the tight yoga pants on top of that, and you've literally bottlenecked the most vital and important center of your body, your breath and your organs that are like the basis of all of our natural normal functions. You've compressed them. So when I'm saying space, I'm talking about like physically like creating space for your body to actually be able to operate in its normal, basic, fundamental functions. So that's one example of literally creating more space to breathe, to digest your food, to connect with your intuition and your gut. Because then if you're in a business meeting or a family office discussion or an investment deal and you are literally cutting off breath and circulation to your body, like how do you expect us to show up and function optimally when that's where we're physically operating from?
Yeah. I mean, if I could just, for those of you listening, I know this resonates with a lot of our women listeners. I mean, as a man, I think, I said to you earlier, I do things messy.
Yeah.
That's my definition of creating space for me. Meaning I'm a recovering perfectionist and things need to be tight. Things needed to be right. Things need to be looked a certain way. And it would choke off my creativity. It would choke off my natural expression of who I believe I was designed to be. And this is from the inside out. And so from my perspective, I think, I don't know, Brian, and you've heard me say this a few times, there's really an art to being messy and not so compressed, whether you're speaking from the intellectual, the physical, what you're wearing, the emotional. Like how do we continue to move the needle to open up and be more expressive and create more internal space, external space, wherever the space is needed to deploy that creativity.
I love this.
I just want to emphasize that the question was, how do we do that?
How do we do that?
Because there are so many really large forces all telling us that we got to be better looking and squeeze into tighter clothing and show it off if we've got it, and walk into the room with a certain whatever. And so how do we move away from that? Because there is a lot of pressure on all of us.
What's the first step? What is a move the needle today first step?
Are you guys ready? This is going to blow everybody's mind.
Say it.
Are you ready? Step 1.
Go ahead.
Unsubscribe.
Oh, that's
like,
just
wait.
Good.
Not to Silicon Valley
so
Impact.
good.
No. We're not unsubscribing. Hey. That wasn't the question.
Okay,
you want to
sorry.
subscribe to that. So let's be clear. Subscribe, click the button, keep following, keep listening. Let's just be clear on that.
Thank you.
When I say unsubscribe, we talked about, what society has imposed on us. You mentioned, Brian, like there's so many external pressures like coming down on us for us to like they're literally compressing us physically and energetically. We're expected to show up all buttoned up and perfect, And what I'm saying is, step 1, unsubscribe. Like, we are intelligent human beings. Can we take a moment to just step back and be like, that doesn't work for me? As easy as the bottom of that email that you get, delete. Unsubscribe. Step 1 is just like consciously making that choice to shift away from something that doesn't resonate with how you want to show up in the world. So to me, that's step 1.
Would you include just screen time in general as unsubscribing? Like just like limiting or getting away from screens as unsubscribing? Does that sort of fit into that same category?
For me, when I'm talking about unsubscribing, it's more up here in the mindset of just what you allow, what thoughts and standards and conditions and ways of thinking and belief systems do you allow in your frontal cortex. That's where I'm saying you want to unsubscribe first.
I think in the Valley there's a lot of FOMO, the fear of missing out. So they're always subscribing. They're always going. They're always looking. It's almost like they're keeping themselves stuck in survival mode, right? And they're grasping. There's the other side of it. I don't know if I heard you say this, Brian, or someone else, but this is not mine.
Joymo, that was me.
The joy of
missing out. I'm a big Joymo guy.
That's your unsubscribe.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, and just going out into nature and spending quiet time in nature is a big thing for me.
So you say I don't
forest
listen,
bathing. Are you familiar with the term forest bathing? Of course.
Absolutely.
And I say this to people like, I did some forest bathing this morning, and I think they think I'm weird, which I am, but it's a natural thing. I mean, the most natural thing.
Is that like hiking? Wait, what is...
just being in the forest, and I bring my hammock and I take a hike and I go and just enjoy the quiet time in the nature of in trees and listening to birds and watching the butterflies.
I literally did that yesterday. So I have a habit. It's a very intentional habit with me and my team. Whenever we're traveling, going to conferences, is we always arrive a day early to do exactly that. I want to connect with the place.
Which here?
We drove around. We literally went into the forest. We found a state park and we pulled over, and me and my colleague literally walked down. There was a little creek and we just literally forest bathed for like a few hours yesterday.
Yeah, great.
And so I'm definitely on board with that. It's such a beautiful way to ground and regulate, especially for people that are traveling all over the place for work and they're just constantly on planes in and out of airports. Like taking that extra day, and like everyone can afford it. For this demographic that we're talking about. So it can't be a matter of like, prioritize. Prioritize that.
No, unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe and prioritize. But I want to mention something, because you said something that's really important. And as we're talking about nature, it's a perfect segue. You talked about messy. And even when you said that in our conversation before, I was like, ooh, I love messy. And I think another part, so unsubscribing first, and then what do we want to then subscribe to? And for me, that's another example that we can see in nature. So another big piece of my methodologies and teaching is that I say nature is my co-mentor, because I spend a lot of time in nature. She has beautiful blueprints for us. There's beautiful ways, her operating systems that are just literally there for us to...
Miraculous, really.
Miraculous, and they're beautiful. And there's a lot of mess in nature. One of the messiest processes in nature is composting. And if no one knows what composting is, that is literally when you take waste matter, or what's considered waste matter, whether it's
organic waste matter,
like food scraps, or even the leaves that fall on the trees. You put them in a pile, you mix them together, and it turns into fertilizer, fertile soil for you to be able to grow things in. So if we think about that concept that nature teaches us, and we can either actively participate in composting by having our own compost bin and do that, or we can just look at nature, who is composting literally every single day. She is shedding, dying, and rebirthing. She's messy. Nature's messy and also beautiful. And she relies on the mess to create the beauty, because that decomposing of the dead leaves, of the waste, of the organic matter, which also gets stinky in the process, by the way, more mess, creates fertile soil that then life emerges from.
That's very satir. Virginia Satir, she's a family therapist, and she takes all these parts that make up who we are, and we often exile certain parts. Like, I don't like that about myself. I'll ignore it, or I'll compromise or compensate for it in other ways. But really, there's parts of you that you can blend together by just re-acknowledging within yourself and say, no, that's valuable, and reintegrate it into your life into something more beautiful. If you find a way to kind of coach it back in.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is there's a mentor. There's I wouldn't even go as far, but for a lack of a better word, there's an analogy in nature that has the parallel that can help you reintegrate and compost old things in your past that you may say, that isn't worth a shit. But I am going to reintegrate it into my life, and something is going to emerge. And I think that's really true, where the true work happens. And then you go hammock with Brian, and I think you
and forest bathe, right? And breathe and do yoga and feel amazing.
Yeah, all of the above, absolutely. And eat the right food and get enough sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually a pretty simple list, quite honestly.
Yeah. So you gave us 2. Is there another step?
I would say that those are 2 really impactful ones. I mean, the next piece after the composting process and just like accepting, whether it's past versions of yourself or a mistake that you made yesterday. Like mistakes are valuable. It's really about finding the value in the shit, you know, and sticking with the stink.
Yeah,
it's going to be a little uncomfortable. Yeah, it's going to get a little messy, but I guarantee if you stick with that process, you will always end up with fertile soil.
Well, I think we can then look towards vulnerability, and Brene Brown, kind of her, like, how vulnerable are you with your shit?
Right?
Well, there you go.
And then you got to alchemize the shit.
These are much bigger concepts than we give credit to.
All right.
And nature is like showing us every day.
How did you get good at this? Where, I mean, you were in the healing space, but I mean, were you born this way?
I came from the healing space, and then 6 years ago now, I moved to Costa Rica. So my home base now is in Costa Rica. I had been traveling there for 15 years. I was doing wellness retreats. I was bringing my clients from my massage practice down there and teaching them wellness practices. And so I found myself in Costa Rica, bought a beautiful property to have all these retreats, and then the pandemic happened. Full stop, no one's coming down for retreats. What am I going to do? I have this beautiful piece of land. So I actually decided to sign up for a permaculture design course.
Nice.
To learn how to steward my land. And that was a pivotal moment where first principle of permaculture is to observe. So the first homework piece that they gave us was literally go outside and observe. And in my observation of nature is when light bulbs just started flicking off, where I'm like, she has this perfect, organized, chaotic at the same time operating system. Why are we not mirroring more of her blueprint in how we show up in relationship and how we operate our businesses and how we function as a family unit? She has the blueprint for us. So it was combining my years of clinical practice working on bodies, my years of being in family office, and now being literally in nature school for like 4 years of the, 3 of the biggest part of the pandemic. And then I was just like, all of these could just like beautifully coincide together for me to bring to family offices a very unique perspective, a very unique lens, a very holistic lens, inspired by nature and very practical in like what it means to show up as a human being in leadership.
Oh, this is so good.
That's really good.
This is an hour show, easily.
It seems like you've got a great perspective, and I would imagine that you are centered and calm most of the time, like most days. Is that accurate?
I would say 100% of the time, because even in the mess, I have so much fun in the mess.
Yeah.
It's like, how can we go through challenge, build resiliency, and just not have to be a certain way depending on our circumstances. We can literally have so much fun even in the challenging times, and looking at it in that lens and realizing that I'm in a compost process and it's going to get messy, but I'm going to end up with fertile soil. Like, the fertile soil is what just like has me keep showing up with a smile on my face.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. I wish that it would be just so wonderful if you could wave a magic wand and give this to people. Right? Like, just say, oh, you've got this now.
Yeah.
Right? Like that dawning and understanding of what you've got would be an incredible gift for a lot of people who are spending a lot of their day stressed and just high levels of cortisol. And
if I might say, I think even that is a good analogy for, the earth, or to be a mentor, because the fire, the lightning, the violence that is earth, right, is worth something. And the struggles that we go through is worth something. It's there to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And whether it's good times or hard times, being in a state of gratitude that it's going to produce fertile soil is a great mindset to have. And of course, then continue to be vulnerable, messy, and to reconnect with your roots, wherever that may be, or wherever that may give you peace, I think is a lesson for all of us to learn.
Absolutely.
All right, Brian. Hey, Jackie, thank you so much for joining.
Jackie.
Thank you guys
Thanks
so
for being
much.
here.
Yeah,
All right.
loved having you.
Brian, ready?
Let's do it. That was perfect. All right.
Bobby didn't hear it. He doesn't have his headphones
I know
on.
that was perfect. Being that we're right after lunch on day one at Opal.
Yeah, wake up.
Wake up. It's day one here at Opal, and we're continuing the parade of amazing people. We have Bobby's in the house. Hey, thanks for joining us, man.
You're welcome, and it's an honor to be here with Brian and Brian. I mean,
Right.
it's a special moment, and I'm delighted.
I hear you're a long-time listener and a huge fan.
I
You got the
I
t-shirt?
think you guys are epic, and Opal's epic too. And I'm delighted to be back at Opal Napa. And if you love wine, which I do, particularly fine red wine, it's the place to be.
It is.
And,
amen. Amen to that. So again, let's introduce you to our audience. Definitely want to bring them in on this party because we've been having fun before the mics were rolling. But give a little quick intro on who you are and what you're working on.
Yeah, sure. So firstly, my name is Bobby Console-Verma, and our background is really on the real estate side. So we started out as a UK real estate family, and it's really been a build by rent model. And we understand real estate really well. I didn't go into that straight after graduating. I went into banking, so investment banking. I was on the trading floor at a couple of big banks, and really focused on credit derivatives, and that asset class knowledge, i.e. firstly real estate and then credit derivatives and the equities prior to that, then led to me exploring private equity. So co-managed a PE fund, and then after that went down the entrepreneur route, and I love that route. That's a fabulous thing to do, and building teams is one of the really critical aspects of that, and actually having that ability to bring high quality, credible people to start a company, because you don't actually start a company with one person. You start that company with people, and you need people to build and scale, and I think that's really important, and I feel that that's what people should focus on when they're investing.
So I got to ask you, I mean, the few people we've had in here today, and we got a long week, we got 3 days here at Opal, you're not the first to say that, and all the people we've interviewed, you're not the first. What is it, because we want to double down on this, what is it about building teams that is so important? You actually kind of already answered that, but how do you build a good team?
Yeah, that is of course a great question, and I think there's a bit of art to it. It's a bit of magic. I think you've got to have the ability to attract people, and I think that comes off the back of positive energy. And I think you need to have that, and you need to be really working rooms and spaces and be out there. So I think that's really important, because you then meet a lot of people. A lot of the people that we've hired have actually come from senior friends who have had senior roles in institutions, banks or whatever, and it might be their kids. And I think that nurturing young talent is really powerful, because if you get them at the right stage of their growth curve, then you can teach them, and then they become part of that team and they help to grow it. But you need to intersperse that with more senior folk as well. But that balance between that young energy and then the mix with seasoned professionals works really well. And then just to fully answer the question, I think it's about actually then really having a vision and then storytelling. And I think that we've all lost the art of storytelling. Fables, tales that were told over ancient fires. And if you look at the next gens, that's what I try and encourage. I say, look, you might be able to communicate with a computer, but you can't communicate with human beings. What's wrong? And I think that's sadly lacking. And I think that's actually what we need to encourage.
I love that. I mean, I think that is a lost art. If you were speaking to a first-time founder,
Sure.
And just by way of conversation, we're going to get back to you talking about your startup. Is this your first company?
No, it's not. No,
Okay.
I've had a few.
If you were talking to a young entrepreneur building their first company, and you share with them this idea, communication is key, storytelling. Outside of this idea of learn to tell a story, what piece of advice would you have for the leader in terms of messaging to the market, messaging to their team? What is kind of top of mind for you when it comes to effective communication?
Yeah, and I think that it comes back to having a great idea. There's no point in even starting a venture unless you have a really solid idea. It's a problem that actually people are genuinely experiencing. And don't assume that it's something that you feel in your mind as the founder it's a great thing to do. You need to go and do some market research, speak to your friends, and then really get that validated, because otherwise you're wasting your time. Then really question yourself. And what I mean by that is, have you got that high energy? Have you got that drive? Have you got that persistence? Because it is damn hard.
Yeah.
It is brutal. And you need to be willing to do the 18-hour days. And if you don't, you won't succeed. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first bit of advice I would give. And then off the back of that, if you feel that you have got that passion and energy and you're going to be with it for the long haul, then just go for it. And what I mean by that, there's a great book out there, Blitzscaling, and it was written by Reid Hoffman and Chris Ye. And it's really the point of the book is, just get on and do it. A lot of people procrastinate. And I think if you do that, that's actually where the issues arise, because you won't achieve anything.
Yeah.
You need to be able to accept that you will make mistakes. The more mistakes you make, the better. You should be thinking, right, every day, I made a mistake, fantastic. I've learned from that. As long as you learn from it, and then you build on that knowledge base.
I love it. That's some great insight.
Yeah,
so
really.
Let's jump back into now. Okay, tell us a little bit more, because I cut you off earlier. I mean, I love this topic. But talk a little bit about what you're building now.
Yeah, and I think this is a really good example of where if you are a founder and you are experiencing a genuine problem yourself, that's a good starting point, isn't it? Because that means that there's something wrong. And so we realized that there was an issue with us as a family controlling our wealth and controlling it using spreadsheets and Dropbox and filing cabinets. And I bet that's what you guys do. And I bet that's what every wealth owner does. And that's a complete no-no. It doesn't matter about the wealth level that you have. It's not going to work, and it's not efficient, and you're also going to get stressed out. And just going off on a slight tangent, but bear with me, and I'll explain the context. But I think about life as being health at the top, then it's family and relationships below it, then it's your wealth. You can't really achieve your life goals without wealth, but there's an interplay. So if you're stressed about your wealth, that's going to have a knock-on effect on your family, relationships, and health. And people don't realize that, although they're beginning to realize it. So off the back of that, you need to think about, how can I diminish that stress in my life? Whatever it is, it might be wealth related, it usually is. And in fact, the stat is, I think it was a Capgemini report that cited that 88% of people globally are stressed about their wealth. It doesn't matter about the wealth level. You might have $1 billion. You're still stressed because you're thinking about who should I give it to? What should I do with it? And at the other end of the scale, you're trying to pay your bills. So I think that it's really important to get control of it. So coming back to your question, it's really about understanding that we had a problem around wealth. So we built a platform. So we looked at what was available, couldn't find it as a suitable platform out there that we could buy. We would have been happy to have bought something. Fortunately, there wasn't one that existed, so we built it. And it's called 1FS Wealth. And it brings together all of your wealth. And we don't provide advice. What we do is we allow you to control your future. i.e. through your wealth allocations. So you can look at what your wealth managers are defining for you as an allocation. And most wealthy people are multi-banked and they have multiple wealth managers. So you need to have those sources of information coming into a platform and all of the documents. And one of the banes of our lives was really around documents and the inability to actually access a document set relevant to a particular investment line. And what I mean by that, say that you own real estate. You will have 50 documents for that piece of real estate. You'll have all of your historical insurance policies. You will have the rental agreements if you rent it out or whatever. Where is that information? You need to access it immediately. And because you might have a loan against it.
So that regularly isn't available at this point for your clients?
There are competing platforms, but they're not
and they're siloed. They're siloed a little bit.
Yeah, they're siloed. Exactly, they're siloed in terms of they might just look at liquids, i.e., equities and bonds and so on, or they might just focus on real estate. And for me, it was about everything. You need to have every single thing you own in one container. And that's what we've built. Then you can interrogate it.
Do they have to come to you and put everything in one container, or do you integrate it through other platforms? They come
question.
to you.
Great question. No, we are at the center of your wealth data universe, and then we have integrations with any external platform if they have the ability to integrate. So I think you'd be surprised that even some of the biggest banks don't have APIs. So we have to take a flat file from those banks, but at least we can then take some information automatically.
Yeah.
Excuse me. On the other hand, we have 17,000 banking connections globally. That's what we built out through open banking.
Yeah. And you've deployed. You're already in motion at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have some amazing clients. We have both direct clients, i.e. the high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals. And one of our clients is actually Apex Group, as in the fourth largest fund admin group in the world. We have a very prominent UK private bank. And we also have Virgin Group, as in Sir Richard Branson. As a client. And the only reason I'm allowed to mention them is because they are indeed reference clients. And we're really proud of those connections and relationships. And we have many other clients. And we're now launching this week a lightweight version of the platform. It's an app. It's called Vault. And it allows anyone to download it from the App Store. It's not quite out there yet, so this is hot off the press for you guys. So the two Brians are getting it.
You're here to hear first. Yeah, I love it.
Firsthand.
Yeah.
And we're really excited because we want it to be used by global wealth owners.
Right.
It doesn't matter what your wealth level is.
So we're here at Opal. It's obviously a wealth management themed conference, and you're speaking.
Yes.
What is the topic that you are jumping on? Was it tomorrow? Are you up tomorrow?
It's tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm really excited. I'm particularly excited because the other panelists are amazing. I mean, their bios are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we're talking about AI and the practical applications of AI within the wealth sphere. And for us, that's integral to what we're building. What we're building is really, once you have that container of all of your wealth data, what do you want to do with it? You want to interrogate it. If you can talk to your wealth and you ask one FS about your wealth, that's incredibly compelling. So you can say to it, right, how many insurance policies are expiring in the next month? What do you think about my bond portfolio? This is what my wealth advisor has told me. And you can then take it to even more detailed levels. And I think this is the power of where we are with being able to hold personal information and have guardrails in place to make sure none of that actually leaves our silo or container, but supplement it with massive amounts of publicly available wealth information.
That's super exciting. And I mean, you've pretty much gone full circle in your life. I mean, you've been on managing the money side. Now you're building the business. You've done a lot of things, as you've introed in earlier, but what is it about all that you're doing that you love? What is keeping you so energized? I mean, you talked earlier about passion. You clearly have it. What is it you're so passionate about in what it is you're doing overall, not just with buildings? I know that could be exciting, but overall, what is it that you're so passionate about that keeps you going?
Yeah, I think that, look, in order to wake up in the morning and feel driven, you've got to have that passion. And it might be passion for your business, it might be passion for your garden, it might be passion for your family. But I think that everyone should have that passion. For me, it's passion on different levels. I mean, I love speaking to my team in the morning. You know, that's really good fun. We have a great energy and there's a really great culture that we're building. But in addition to that, I love speaking to my 3 boys, and you know, they are 2 of them in the UK, one's in Dubai, and you know, having that connectivity with them and seeing them grow up is a fantastic thing. And again, with my wife, you know, I think it's all about your friends and your family. And I think that passion for different people is, of course, going to be different things. But really draw out that passion. That's my theory. I mean, if you love food, which I do, and wine, I think that you should find the best restaurants that really appeal to you.
Yeah. I love how you've generated that energy. Brian, anything top of mind for you?
No, I've learned a lot. No, I got nothing.
So I'm just going to summarize. I've heard, again, if we can start looking across the spectrum of people who are operating at a high level, there's this importance of community, passion, and community parlays into the ability to extract a good team from a wider whole. So, you create a part from the whole. And I think this is a consistent theme. And so the fact that you've kind of echoed this today, Bobby, I really appreciate you coming in and talking about it.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely brilliant to hear your questions as well. If I can just end on one note, I think that really it's about that information absorption as well. You know, that's one of my passions. I love reading with a passion, and then I've learned to actually listen to books as well through audio. Yeah. Whereas I historically I've loved reading
You got a favorite top of mind? You got a favorite book?
I actually think that the one I read recently is The Psychology of Money, and I'm not fixated by money, but I thought that was a really interesting read. But I like fiction as well. So there's an amazing, sadly since passed away, author called Peter Mayle, and he wrote a number of books about Provence. And he really brought Provence to life. And there's a book called Anything Considered, and it's a brilliant, very easy read, but it's really well written. So
it has lots of pictures, because when you say easy read for me, I'm okay. That's just for me. All right, I'm joking, but again, Bobby, thank you so much for joining us today. I love how you
you definitely got the excitement and the energy and the passion.
Yeah, that's really kind. Well, thank you so much.
The psychology of money.
I'm guessing that your team loves hearing from you in the mornings as well.
Yeah, I think they do. I bet. And I think it's really important to actually say, the other thing I'd say, my very last point, look, the guys are groaning now and thinking, oh my God, but this is a really easy one. I would say that I think open up. If you're the founder of a business, say to your team, can I help you? How can I help you? I don't think many people say that. I think
that's a lost art.
Yeah. And also put your hands up and say sorry. Very few people say sorry in life. There's nothing wrong with it saying sorry. I think it's a beautiful thing to step down a bit of tension. Anyway, those are some other thoughts from me, last thoughts from me, and grateful for your time, guys.
Love it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you to you guys, Staff Ventures, and to Opal.
Can't say it enough. All right, Brian, wake up. Let's go. Let's keep this train moving.
Indeed. We're going to keep moving here. Where are we? You want to remind people where we are? Do they know by now?
Yeah. Well, no. Once again, we are in Napa Valley. We're the Opal Spotlight with the Opal Group.
Yeah.
Silicon Valley Impact. It was so graciously invited here to talk to amazing people like Skip. We got Skip in the house. You're getting ready to chat with him. Skip
Coomber.
Skip Coomber. Good to see you, buddy.
Good morning, gentlemen. Pleasure to meet both of you, Bryans.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit, before we get into this, Skip, tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what you're working on.
Gosh, well, I'm an attorney, tax attorney. I have a consulting firm. I take tax-benefited programs to employers. My wife and I own 2 urban wineries. What that means is we buy our grapes, and our wineries are in downtown areas, Oceanside and Vista, California, North San Diego County.
I love it. And one thing you and I were talking about, and David Liebowitz, who runs a lot of these events, spoke highly of you, and you've been coming to these events for a long time. I mean, you're one of the...
I'm the oldest. Yeah, I've been here the longest. I was appointed to a public pension fund by a county supervisor in 2002, and I realized that we didn't have access to venture capital, and so I said I would try and make a difference. And it's a good old boys network, so I said I need to go to the conferences where they are, and I need to try and get on panels with venture capitalists.
Yeah.
And so I called up Opal. I said I'd like to come and be a speaker, and I started in Data Point in December of 2002.
Oh,
wow. And been going ever since?
Ever since, 5 to 7 or 8 a year.
Yeah, I set 5 or 7, 8 a year.
Typically, yeah.
So you travel a lot to go to these great events.
I do. I love it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
And you were saying earlier, I mean, I was asking you, like, what keeps you coming back? I loved your answer.
It's addictive because I don't have anything to sell these people. I really never have. It's an aggregation. It's a grouping of highly intelligent, successful people, all in one spot. And what I find is intelligent, successful people have amazing life stories. So they're just fascinating to talk to.
right.
Yeah. And so okay, so you talk to these amazing people. Is it just like in the moment, or have these become like lifelong friends to you?
Many of them have become friends, but I've probably met and had in-depth conversations with another 10 people these last 2 days.
People who you didn't know previously.
I didn't know before. No, one guy goes to Africa 3 times a month. He's been doing this for 30 years. Did you guys talk with him?
Yeah.
Matt?
Yeah.
Matt McNeil. Fascinating story.
Yeah.
And he has contracts with the president of these different countries. There are 34 countries I learned in Africa. Yeah. Fascinating stories.
Yeah, and so that keeps you coming back, and I find it ironic that we're here in Napa, which I consider kind of the grape capital of the world, and you buy a lot of grapes, and you have your urban wineries. What got you into that?
I made an investment in a custom crush facility. That's a plant where winemakers pay to make their wine there, so that they don't have to invest in all the equipment that's necessary. So it was a pretty big facility. We had 120 employees. So I started having them make wine for me, and all of a sudden I ended up with a warehouse with an awful lot of wine, $3 million worth of wine in it, and so we had to do something with it. So I started distributing it. I created a brand that I thought could go national, and I did. I took it. It was in all of the Publix markets, over 1,200 Publix supermarkets, and then we were just distributed around the country. And then we decided to concentrate on our wineries, just our venues. So,
and the name of your wine is your namesake?
Yeah, Coomber Craft Wines.
Okay, nice.
Oceanside and Vista.
Nice. Okay, and so how long have you had that?
We opened 6.5 years ago in Oceanside, and this past May in Vista.
Okay, so you do. I'm kind of powering through this because you're one of those fascinating people I just want to learn so much about. So you're also into law,
right?
Yeah. What got you into that?
Are you practicing? Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I never wanted to be an attorney. I wanted to be a businessman.
Yeah.
I am fascinated with the business of business, and I don't really care what business it is. After I went to law school, a mentor suggested I go to law school as opposed to business school, and I started practicing law, and I found out it's as much a business as anything else. Even though attorneys are often maligned, we have to go find clients, we have to do some work, produce something for them, a product, which is our service, and then we have to figure out how to get paid, just like every other business out there. So I enjoyed that, but I've been involved with lots of other businesses.
So from a high level, with your love of business, we have a lot of founders who listen to this. What are some insights from somebody who is, who's in law, loves business, has the winery, been coming here. What are some high level insights that you could share with a brand new founder? Am I throwing you down a rabbit hole?
No, you're absolutely not. No, the first thing that jumps to mind is a company that when I first retired, I don't know how many years ago, because I didn't share with you, I've run significant family offices, 2 of them. These are ultra wealthy people. I call it jets to pets, and I just run their entire lives. After I started practicing law, I had a client that married an East Coast heiress, bipolar, and I ran her world for 13 years. Then I retired, and I thought I was a genius because I'd done a bunch of investments in different Silicon Valley fund of funds and private equity funds and everything on her behalf and mine, and for the pension fund. I thought, well, I'm pretty smart. I love business. I've met 2 guys who had a product, and I thought, well, I'm going to come in and run that. So $500,000 later, I drew a line and I was done. We were the wrong people at the wrong time. Our 2 primary competitors became unicorns. Oh. But you have to be the right person. You have to get lucky, and you have to not get unlucky.
Ooh, that's good. And so,
except that, how do you avoid that, right? Like, how do you sort of somersault into that equation?
Well, I don't skip. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you kind of came in with the mentality, I'm going to save the world. Like, I can do this, and it humbled you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Long nights, cold.
Yeah.
A long winter, couple years of long winter.
And what I'm hearing is being dragged through that experience taught you a lot.
Yeah, it really did. Look, the 2 people that I invested with, and they weren't completely upfront with me. I should have done more due diligence. I should have researched a little bit more, and then we were caught in. This is something I feel very strongly about. People, we call them whale hunting when you're looking for the big clients, and I kept saying they had been with enterprise companies, so they had captured whales over the years. I said, guys, we need to get a couple hundred small clients and service them, show that we can do it. Our mistakes won't be costly, and we'll build it. And I could never get them to get off of that whale hunt thing, and I think it really hurt us. I think we might have been able to survive except for that, honestly.
Yeah. That's good. Oh, that's good. So sometimes
that's really good.
You have to.
I think it's partly humility, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? That you're just going to go do the work. You're going to just go do what you say you can do, regardless of how affluent the end user is or the client is.
And then there's a lot of self introspection. I have come to realize that I'm not a great boss. I do my stuff really well, and I do a lot of stuff, and I expect other people to do their stuff. There's an additional skill set in there that requires time, where you take the time and always check in, always follow up with them, set goals for them and everything. And I'm good at that for myself, but I don't think I did a good job of leading those guys. And I was very clear about the whale hunting thing, and I couldn't turn that ship.
Oh, wow, interesting. So you're here at Opal. What panel are you sitting on? What are you talking about?
Yesterday I was on a panel. I was supposed to be with the former IRS Commissioner Chuck Rettig. They bring us in to speak at a couple a year. He had to cancel due to a death of someone he knows, unfortunately. But our panel was basically wealth protection for ultra high net worth people. Yeah,
and what does that look like from a high level? If you can kind of recap for us.
Well, we had some people who talked about specific codes and things. We talked about the one big bad bill and how it has impacted things. My advice to them is more built from my experience, and that is do your due diligence. I tell the story of, in my neighborhood, one of the fathers who was a CFO of a small company, and it had an exit. He and another guy were selling pre-IPO Facebook shares. And they raised $14 million, and it turned out to be a complete scam. And one of the pieces that they used for their validity was a letter from a big San Diego law firm, and it was extolled their virtues and where the stock was being held or all that sort of stuff. Turns out that he had made an appointment with the law firm, gone in, and when the attorney went to the bathroom, he stole a piece of their letterhead. And so nobody ever called the law firm.
Oh my gosh!
It's such a simple thing.
Yeah, but
a little
why would
bit
you?
of due diligence.
You've got the letter on letterhead, right? Calling them
so
seems
now we
superfluous.
learn, right?
Yeah.
Take that extra little step, and it may seem uncomfortable, and then you can use Reagan's statement, trust but verify.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, so you had a great time on the panel.
Yeah, it was great.
What's next for you?
I'm going to head back home and continue work with my consulting firm and my law firm and the winery as well.
Are you headed to Dana Point?
I'll be at Dana Point speaking, yes. That'll be, 2025, so that'll be my 23rd year speaking there.
Nice. Wow. I'll be there with you.
You'll be there? Oh, great. Maybe we'll chat again.
Yeah, I'm chairing that time.
Oh, you are? Fantastic.
Yeah, they let me in.
That's a great, alternatives, that's a great conference.
Yeah. So those of you listening, if you want to come hang out with Skip and I at Dana Point, I believe it's early December, like the first Monday.
3rd, 4th, and 5th, something like that.
Yeah, early Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I believe it's one of those.
Don't miss Newport, Rhode Island in July.
Oh, yeah.
That is the biggest and baddest of them all.
I think that's what David was telling
office conference.
Yeah, David was telling us about that. We're going to go out to that and I think do this here. So looking forward to it. Skip, thank you so much for joining us today.
Really nice to meet you, Skip. Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks, guys. My pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. So, Sanjay, thanks for joining us. Love what you're working on, but again, our audience is, just being brought up to speed as if they just arrived to the party. Give a quick little intro about who you are and what you're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for inviting me, and it's my pleasure to be here. My name is Sanjay Shrivastava, and I live and work in Irvine, California. I'm a medical device entrepreneur. I develop cardiovascular interventional devices and commercialize them through my own company.
Nice. Okay, so now we can just double click on that. Brian, you got something.
Well, you say cardiovascular devices, and so somebody who doesn't know anything about cardiovascular devices, can you give us a little bit of a layman's, like some examples of what those are?
Absolutely. In more crude terms, I'd call it a body plumbing tooling business.
Oh.
So body is comprised of blood flowing through the entire body in and out of heart and return to the heart through a set of blood vessels called arteries and veins. And just like pipes at home, arteries and veins have problems and they get clogged or they rupture or can rupture. So I make devices that in a minimally invasive manner, meaning without having to cut that particular organ open where that artery or vein might be, to be able to repair it, treat it. So in other words, by sticking a needle at the groin, one can travel using our devices to the brain, to the lung, to the heart, to the legs, to toes, anywhere, liver, kidney, any organ you talk about it. So what we do is I take one organ at a time, and for about 3 to 5 years, I develop, and these are FDA regulated products. So there's a process of development, there's a process of getting those approval, and then do the early commercialization. And I did that through my job at big companies for many years, and this is the second startup company that I founded or co-founded that I'm doing of my own. My current company, Napa Vascular, has a specific set of tools that I can tell you about within this subset of cardiovascular interventional devices.
Yeah, I love. Okay, this is good stuff. So what I'm hearing is there may be multiple devices. It's not just one. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes.
And these multiples, they all have to go through FDA clearance. So talk a little, I'm fascinated. I don't know if our guests will, or not our guests, but our audience will love this stuff. But I'm fascinated how you go through all these hurdles, how you mentally prepare yourself, and why you put yourself through this. What got you here? I just have so many questions, Brian. I don't know if
can
it's
hear
coffee.
that. You got really excited.
Yeah, maybe the coffee kicked in, or just what he's doing is so interesting.
This is everybody on the planet has these systems, right? Yeah. We're all susceptible to needing what the service and tools that he's offering.
Yeah.
Yeah, frankly, the most common cardiovascular interventional device that people know today is a stent for heart.
Sure.
I worked on coronary stents in 2002, and I've been doing these one device or the other since 2000. From 2007 to 2011, I was R&D leader for a product called Solitaire that now Medtronic sells, that removes clot from stroke patients in the brain by accessing it at the groin. So instead of having to cut someone's brain open, we just stick a needle at the groin, and using arteries as your highways under image guidance, doctors can travel all the way from groin to the brain and pull and suck the clot out.
Wow.
And so those devices, we worked on it for a few years, and then that's what gave me inspiration to my current company, Innova Vascular Inc., which is based in Irvine. Innova Vascular has a set of FDA-approved products for removing clot from a condition called pulmonary embolism, which is where we're doing a clinical study, and deep vein thrombosis. These are all clots in veins and generally in legs. That's called DVT, or deep vein thrombosis. And when that clot ends up in lungs, then it's called pulmonary embolism.
Okay.
PE.
DVT is something that we're hearing a lot about. I mean, this is such a weird, but there's a couple players in the NBA that are dealing with this,
That's right. That's right.
The young
Yeah,
kid,
Wemby.
Wembanyama, was out for at least weeks or months, right? I mean, it got a lot of publicity that way in the general public.
Yep.
And you're coming up with a solution for that.
We have a catheter that catheter and a clot retriever, two tools that work together, and they can also work one at a time as well. That can navigate very, very easily from one side of the groin to the other side. It can go to in the other leg. Through veins, and we have a way to what we call aspirate the clot, and then we have a stent-like product that's attached. It goes through the aspiration catheter, and that stent, if the clot is more sticky or adherent clot, then it will remove it. It will loosen it from the vessel wall, and it will treat that.
I'm curious, is this technology available for everybody at this point, or is it still in small niche areas?
Yeah, great question. So our products are cleared by the US FDA for removal of thrombus in peripheral vascular disease, in peripheral vasculature. So that's, in layman's term, there's a lot of medical jargon there, that for blood vessels that are outside of the heart, it's approved in the U.S., and we have begun to commercialize the product. Our product is today in about 25 hospitals in the U.S., and we're actually expanding our sales team to reach more hospitals.
And I'm guessing, I would imagine hospitals are pretty receptive to having these tools available.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It saves lives. It saves lives, and that's why we're doing a clinical study for the second indicated use, which is the pulmonary embolism, and we're enrolling at another 20 centers, which is different from these hospitals.
Do you know what a pulmonary embolism is, Brian? Just say no. You don't. We don't. Can you explain what a pulmonary embolism is? I know I've heard of it before, but I don't know exactly what it is.
What your audience may find interesting to know is that right side of the heart is all return blood, the deoxygenated blood. So all the veins from entire body drain into the right side of the heart.
Okay.
And then left side of the heart deals with oxygenated blood. So all the oxygenated blood gets pumped out of the left side of the heart. So what happens that veins, when clot forms in deep veins somewhere, such as veins in legs, then that itself is a problem, and people may get swollen leg and other types of problems, and it's clinically symptomatic. But then when that gets dislodged from there, a piece of it gets separated, then because all return veins drain into the right heart, it ends up into right heart, and from right heart venous blood is sent into lungs. So it ends up in lungs, and when it gets into lungs, then what happens? Patient can't breathe, so they have breathing difficulty and they have chest pain, symptoms that are similar to those of a heart attack. So they can't even tell what they're having, but it may be a PE or pulmonary embolism. So, and now why blood goes from right heart into lungs and then from lungs back into the left heart, that's hopefully known to the audience, for the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen that happens in the lungs.
Got it. Yeah.
And right heart and left heart in healthy, most people don't talk to each other. They communicate through lungs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Huh. That is interesting.
I was today years old learning all
it
this.
sort of takes me back to my biology in school, like where we learned that stuff. But go ahead, Brian.
I got a few questions.
Yeah,
so
go.
you said you're a startup, but this sounds like a big company and something you've been working on for a while. Obviously, your experience goes back. What phase are you in terms of the startup? Because I know you have to go through the FDA, so your hands are tied for a while as things get cleared. So explain to me and your audience kind of where you are in that journey, because I mean, medical devices like you're working on are a little bit different than traditional startups, again, going through FDA. So unpack that for us a little bit.
Yeah, medical devices are actually faster to develop in most cases than a pharmaceutical or a biotech. Typically, it takes 3 to 5 years to get a medical device developed and cleared through FDA. So we are already in that advanced stage where we have our products, our 2 sets of products are cleared by the FDA for commercial sale in the U.S. And we're in the commercial mode. So late stage, clinical, early stage, commercial stage is what our company is, which is a great stage because that means that we've already brought our product through the testing and clearances and success, demonstrated success in hospitals, and now what we're looking to do is how to bring it to more and more patients and more doctors, including like players like Bambi who got the clot in their artery in their veins.
And what would be a big win for you coming to Opal? Because what I've realized is we all love pursuing our passion and building our business, and there's a very diverse clientele in terms of Opal. So what would be a win for you being here?
So I'm meeting here. I'm here to meet with investors, and it's been amazing 2 days here. I've met so many people that are so interested in working with us and collaborating with us and investing in us, and that's what the success is here. That being able to share what we're doing, which we obviously feel very, very proud of what we do, and we love what we do. That's what has kept me going and doing the same thing for 25 years, developing these types of tools. Different part of body, 3 to 5 years, but each 3 to 5 years. But getting these investors to come and become the part of our family, our investor family, and that's what makes Innova who it is. We're working with people. We are like a 3-legged stool. So we have investors, we have customers, and we have employees, and our stool is built on these 3 legs. Yeah, and we think of each of these 3 legs as a family. That's our Innova family.
Yeah, I love it. It's really exciting what you're working on. What's next for you? I know you mentioned it's go to market, bring in new customers, really expanding this technology that you're bringing these devices to the market. But really, what does it look like in the next 18 months for you?
Expanding, commercial expansion, the word they are out there, and therapy that we have developed, and our team has worked so hard and designing, developing, testing, and getting through FDA now, and getting it all reimbursed and everything, now making it available to more and more doctors and more patients in the U.S. as well as outside the U.S.
I love it. Are you, is this your first Opal?
It's my first Opal, that's correct.
Yeah, you're smiling. It's been good to you.
It's absolutely been time very well spent last 2 days.
Awesome.
Here,
well, maybe I'll see you in Dana Point in December.
It's just in my neck of the woods.
All right, we'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
All right, pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, let's roll with it. Are we hot?
We're hot.
We're hot.
We're ready. We're going.
All right. So once again, we're here at Opal. I think I've said that 100 times within this own episode that we're compiling. It's the best of. But nonetheless,
anybody listening is like, yeah, dude, we get it. You're at Opal.
Yeah. If you've just walked in the room while your favorite person is listening to this show, we're doing the Opal Spotlight. We're Silicon Valley Impact, and we're interviewing some great people. And this is our last interview, but not the least, because we got our good friend Rick Spencer in the house. Good to see you, right?
Is Silicon Valley Impact.
Yeah, that's Rick. Yeah. Bring him in. Bring him in, Rick.
That's what I need, the walk-up.
Right. You need a little bit more, right? Don't you?
Bring the energy.
Yeah. Brian, you need a little bit. Here we go.
We'll just give you a little bit of the intro music, Rick, so you can get kind of fired up. Because I see you got a Red Bull. Now you need a little bit of Silicon Valley.
Feeling good. That's the best intro I've ever gotten.
Yeah, that's
you just
all.
Let me know when you need another intro, man.
We just all got the Red Bull right there. Yeah, that's your nickname now, Brian. Yeah.
I'm Red Bull.
The Red Bull.
You're gonna think I'm Native American.
But we are in Napa. There's no wine or champagne. Like what's going on, Brian?
I think we dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah.
So we've been here all day, and Rick closing it out, telling us you should have had wine here, and he's absolutely right.
I know.
Yeah, we should have had Skip bring
Next
some
time.
wine. Yeah,
good call.
Yeah, we had Skip in here earlier. Skip Coomber.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has the urban winery, and so we could have asked him So for next time, great tip, Rick. Rick, so good to see you, buddy.
Likewise.
We've been hanging out the last few days. Is this your first Opal?
My first Opal, yes.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I thought it was great. The intersection of mainly family offices and then some funds and then some founders. But the right mix, I think, of more investors so we can, a lot of these conferences, it's heavy founders and, you can't really get those insights or dig into deep conversations because you're overwhelmed with the enthusiasm of founders, which we all love as investors. But it's nice to break away and just think about the craft of investing, think about the future of investing, and really talk to colleagues.
Yeah. So those of you joining us today, I just have to bring everyone up to speed. Rick, you were on the show last year. Was it this year? Earlier this week?
It was last year.
Yeah. So you're a repeat guest.
Yes.
Coming in on the show. So for those just joining us and haven't heard your episode yet, and if you haven't, go check it out on YouTube or Spotify and Apple.
Great episode. Yeah,
great episode. You were with Kevin Jervich, which was great. And then I think you brought in, was it Christian?
Yes, Basican.
Yeah.
Modern football.
That was a great
Oh,
episode.
yeah, definitely. That was a great episode.
Yeah.
Plus the GFX episode.
And the GFX episode was
that's
epic.
right. We did this at GFX, right? You were kind of our kickoff to this, to the traveling Silicon Valley Roadshow.
That's right.
Yeah.
So give a little intro of who you are and what you're working on.
So Rick Spencer, co-founder and managing partner of Growth Factory Ventures. We have our first fund that is just about to be 4 years old in December. Just had initial close of our second fund, so very excited. Thank you.
They love you.
So really excited. We're out of Sacramento. The first fund was very much, how either Sacramento companies or how Sacramento could help. Now we've expanded beyond that geography, looking at other areas of California, looking at other states, and
What do you mean you're looking at other areas? What does that mean?
So the thesis for Fund 1 was there's talent in Sacramento that is underexplored and overlooked, and because of our network, we can activate that talent, and they just need a little capital to start. And so we proved that thesis. We created, as I think what you saw at GFX, what we call the backyard advantage. And it's really around, 90% of our investors in Fund 1 are operators, executives. These are the people that, are willing to roll up their sleeves and work on building these companies. They're not just investing. And that becomes what we call the backyard advantage, that you're, 1 degree away from anything you need as far as a connection, talent, investment, that next customer. And it's really around, we call it the golden question, and it's actually 2 questions. What are you working on, and how can I help? And it's that mix of curiosity, generosity, and authenticity that really creates this culture where it's venture building, right? So we're not just venture investing, but where the capital, for us, we say we want our capital to be the least valuable thing you get from us. Yeah. And so we've succeeded with Fund 1 as far as so far our metrics and performing, at a great, metric mark. And now with Fund 2, we think that backyard advantage, we see it being needed in other regions in California. We see it being, I just went to Bentonville, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas a couple weeks ago. And, there's a lot going on there with the headquarters of Walmart and Tyson Foods and JB Hunt. So there's been a lot of wealth created. There's a lot of interest in how do we, University of Arkansas is very, proud alumni there, and a proud university that's grown to be world-class. And so it's like, why can't the next best company come out of Northwest Arkansas? And so, they are looking at the same thing. Like, how do we activate capital? How do we build community? And, this backyard advantage model is something that other places are interested in.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you must have done a lot of homework to end up there, because that's someplace I've never even heard of before.
Yeah, it's interesting how we wound up there as one of the people in Sacramento. They are from that area, and they said, look, you should come here, you should learn. Yeah, but that's what happens with, the community building, right? Is you get connected with folks that have insights, and that gives us great founder introductions, that gives us great corporate introductions, and that introduces us to other areas where we can grow.
Yeah,
we should do that, Brian. We should go do pitch events in these obscure places that have really smart people and amplify what
I don't know
Yeah.
if the word obscure is appropriate, but I don't think they feel like they're obscure. But I'm
Yeah.
just sorry, but these are places where there's creative, smart, well-educated people that
Yeah.
are just like any place else, but maybe they just haven't reached
Yeah, we like to say
Sacramento or Silicon Valley
it's
or New York.
underexplored, overlooked.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're not on anyone's radar, and it's to your point, Brian. It's not because they don't have the talent, they don't have the drive, the commitment. They
Yeah.
have all of those things, all the right ingredients.
Yeah.
But no one has. They haven't hit the radar of most people.
Yeah, exactly. They just maybe haven't had the whatever it is, the platform or
Right.
the stage to be able to do so.
Well, we could
Yeah.
we could help.
Yes.
I think we could do that.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the backyard advantage, you guys are not just a fund. I mean,
Right.
you got a lot of moving parts. You got this location, the growth factory.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a physical location.
Yes.
In it is a lot of your portfolio companies, and you've got a lot of moving parts that bring value add. Is that really the advantage? Not only you having the home field advantage, but you have all these resources for founders, and I can't tell you how many founders, or not founders, but investors who have sat in this chair and spoke to say we don't do hand holding, and you've kind of gone to the other end. You've given them every resource possible to succeed, and that's proving to be a really good model for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we launched, there was three things that Mark Haney and I, the co-founders, we were operators before, so we had been in the shoes of these founders and understood the challenges they faced, and that's what motivated us to say, could we do it differently? And we said, look, there's three things. Capital, of course, they need capital, but they also need a community, right? Nobody builds a truly great company alone. It gets very lonely as an entrepreneur. There's fear, uncertainties, doubts, right? And so how do we give them that community that can push them through those challenges and get them to the breakthrough, right? So that they don't give up or they don't make a bad decision because they're fatigued and they're unfocused and they're distracted, all the things, right? And then we talk about, capacity building, right? So how can we accelerate their capacity building, which that just means, in building a company, there's things that are necessary, but you can spend a lot of time on and not see the return. So legal, accounting, human resources, right? And so if you can build a network of trusted partners where they don't have to go searching for those things, they don't have to vet those people, they don't waste capital picking the wrong partner.
Yeah.
They can focus on building the business and the breakthroughs that they need, to really build a venture scale company.
Well, you're ahead of the curve because what they're calling that now, and you guys have been doing this for quite some time, is they're calling that the venture platform. And if you're going to be successful as a founder and now as a VC with all the competition in that space, you're going to need this value add at a high level. And you guys figured this out a while back.
Yep.
And you also, another C that you guys have used other than, what was it, capacity?
Yep.
That was the last one, community, capital, and capacity. But you guys are heavy on content because Mark has been really pushing it. You're always out there speaking. The GFX event that Brian was talking about earlier, which was last year, is phenomenal. And I think you guys are pivoting this year to get a little bit more curated in those. But you really push to educate people from multiple platforms.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to differentiate, and be smart capital, right? So there is enough capital for good companies. There's enough capital and it's very competitive, right? There's actually more capital than, there are great companies. And so, but you can't get into those deals unless, and that's what we're really proud of is that founders invite us into deals that, because the size of our fund, we shouldn't be invited into. We're not an A16Z, we're not a Sequoia, right? But they invite us in because they say, no, we want you on the cap table. You're going to be one of the most valuable partners on the cap table, regardless of the size of your check. Some of them are like, we don't even care if you write us a check. We just want you involved. And that building that platform, right, has created that differentiation so that the best founders seek us out. Our investors seek us out, and it creates that network effect for growth.
Nice. So you're here at Opal first time. What has been your experience? You already kind of led with it at the beginning of the show, but we really want to geek out on this, Brian, because we're winding it down after being here 3 days.
Right.
What has been, and Brian, this is your first experience with Opal as well,
No,
right?
this is my second. I was in San Francisco,
San Francisco.
with you.
You were in San Francisco.
We did a show on.
Yeah, we did do the show. Jeez, my mind. Okay.
That's
It's
all
the
right.
end of 3 days.
I tried to stay in the background.
He was there, people.
noticed.
Honestly, he was there. But what did you learn from this? You talked about it being unique, it being investor rich. Would you come back?
Yeah, absolutely. I would come back. I think that, the quality of people here and the conversations are great. And, there's always themes that you take away, and most of them validated kind of what we're building. But I'd say for me, and I'd love to get you guys adding in for the sessions you went to, I thought the top 3 themes were obviously AI, and we could talk about what that means. That's not a surprise, but how it was applied here, I think might be interesting to some. Then there was, figuring out like where are these economies going, right? So taking AI, for example, and it's like, well, if AI is going to reindustrialize the U.S., where should you be investing? Well, you should be investing in data centers, in supply chain, in energy, right? And thinking about, that, economic shift, right? And so I think there's the AI piece, there's the economic shifts that all of these family offices and other funds are trying to predict and understand so that they can, be focused on those. And then I think that the other thing that was really interesting was this legacy piece, this transfer of generational wealth. And so a lot of these families are multi-generational, and there's a lot of data on, you get into the 3rd, 4th generation, and it can become challenging for those generations that have been raised in the wealth. And how do they stay engaged and stay responsible, and how do you actually hand them the reins in a way that you can have confidence, right, that they've been educated, that they've had hands-on application, that they're going to be responsible to grow the wealth of that family and not just take. So that legacy building, I was pleasantly surprised, was a big piece as a 3rd theme.
I love that topic because not a lot of founders, young founders, think from that perspective. They think, well, I'm just building a startup, I'm building a company. They don't think until maybe years down the road that I need to pass this on to somebody. I mean, they're system building, they're trying to get themselves out of working in the business and start working on the business. But you're absolutely right. There's this idea of how do I transfer this down the line to family, and it was a great topic. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's funny because we had we were joking earlier about having Skip in here bringing some wine, and Skip's been coming for 25 years?
Yeah, something like that.
25 years. You can hear to Napa. And he was talking a lot about what you're talking about, the community, the smart people, the insight. And so you have on one end of the spectrum, Skip, who's been here 25 years, and Rick, you coming here, and there's this consistent theme.
Yeah. I want to go back to what Rick said, because I think a lot of the conference was about preservation of family offices, and not only preservation of wealth and future generations, but we also talked with Samy Dwek, the family office doctor.
Yeah.
Did you talk to him? Did you meet him?
Well, I was the one that introduced him to Brian. We found him in the hallway, and we've now interacted with him a couple times and heard some amazing stories he would never record. But it was really powerful what he's doing.
Well, and just that idea that not only is there a lot of money to manage and generations down the line who need to be maybe or not, or have the opportunity to be responsible with that or not, but just the idea that these entities called families need help to stay healthy. I mean, there was a lot of talk today about health.
Yeah.
Right? We had vascular health, and we had, oh my gosh, now I'm blanking.
Jacqueline, she came in and talked about health and the body.
Yeah, exactly. Jackie came in and talked about mental health and spiritual health, and so there's been more talk about health here than I would have expected for sure. And then the guy talking about he got cures for, not cures, but he's working on curing cancer.
And the diabetes guy, it's just, it goes on and on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you don't have your health, then you don't have your wealth, right? So you can build, the biggest stockpile of wealth, but without health, you don't activate that, right?
Yeah.
But I think Samy was really interesting, insightful to me. He said, look, every family has issues and challenges, every family. And what I think most people would think is, these family offices, these are wealthy families, and that probably solves a lot of problems. And what he said is, no, it just accelerates problems, just makes more problems.
Accentuates, yeah. Isn't that wild? Because it does seem like money should solve all problems.
Right.
Yeah,
it makes it worse.
I mean,
it can do, right? It doesn't always make it worse, but I think it just incentivizes people to get a little bit more manic or something about the things that the rest of us just deal with anyway.
Yep.
But the importance gets ratcheted up.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things he shared with us, you were there. He's working with these wealthy families, and he could have insights about all the things that they have access to. But he said, you should have dinner with your kids 2 to 3 times a week minimum, and you should be asking them what's going right and what's going wrong. Yeah. And that core foundation is what can keep kids engaged and help them, beyond any wealth that you could provide.
I was having lunch too, and there was a conversation about the amount of pressure that young people feel, and I can imagine young people of family offices growing up in that environment must feel a great deal of pressure in one way or another to be something or to become something or to preserve something.
Yeah. Well, you imagine what it's like for one of the big parents in the house, the leaders in the house, who is building something big or running something big, the intensity that comes home with them, and then the privilege that comes with money. One of his biggest encouragements was learn to confront, right? And oftentimes money can, again, exacerbate. I then went on to said, it really can be a solve, but really it's artificial. And to get off the screens with some of the other tips that he had.
Oh yeah, I mean, did we talk? I can't remember sometimes what we talked about on the mics and what we didn't, but the idea that communication through forms of email, text, and other, instead of
at
just
the table,
in the room, face to face, at the table, actually talking, is a huge shift, and I think we're all kind of getting used to or getting so comfortable with the idea that you just send a message, you don't actually have a conversation.
Well, health also, communication came up parallel to health a lot.
Yeah, totally.
The ability to communicate,
really
whether, you're talking with your family and talking to the right people, building the right team, he talked about. So having the right community, and the fact that, Rick, you guys are doing it at the Growth Factory, and you see that here, if there's a thread to be followed, it's consistently community, and then the close second, or, parallel number one is communication.
Sure.
Yeah. A lot of good stuff.
I've said it a few times on the show that's a theme that's been consistent throughout the entire time we've been doing this show. Almost every guest that we have on touches on that very same theme.
Communication and community.
Communication, community, surrounding yourself with the right people, funders, finding the right founder, the right fit, founder fit, right? Funder fit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just over and over and over again, having the right people on your team, not just picking anybody, not just saying, oh, great, you'll write me a check, fantastic, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And making, just making sure that there's a common desire for either growing or scaling or whatever.
Community is king. No, I don't think cash is king anymore. I think it's community is king.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because just cash is so easy to find, right? Like it's just everywhere. Community's hard.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. We've covered a lot here. Anything else left on the table, Brian? Because we've had a great time here. We want to thank David Liebowitz for bringing us in.
Thank you, David. That was great. We were happy to be here. It's a beautiful town. We got to enjoy some wonderful conversations with some, again, brilliant, creative, interesting people.
And I'm not too good at keeping secrets, but David and I are talking that we may be doing this in Dana Point.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Down at the Ritz.
Surfs up.
Yeah. Down at the Ritz, Carlton, and have a lot of great guests coming in there to talk about alternative investment strategies. It's a great time. So we'll be down there in December. So look for those dates in the show notes.
Since we dragged you in here, Rick, anything else that you got to say? Is there anything that you want to add before we wrap?
I would just say one of the things that we're interested in, so if anyone's also interested, I'd love to connect with them, is on this legacy piece. We're actually building something called Legacy Lab. So back to your point about education and community. And so it's for junior and senior high school students to be taught how to invest and actually make an investment, and be taught how to build business prototypes and actually build business prototypes. And so not just the educational piece, but the hands-on application in a controlled, safe environment with community. And we're getting a lot of interest, in this model. And, from whether it's family offices to high net worth individuals that are like, I want, my children or my grandchildren to be able to inherit, all the things that I worked hard for.
Yeah.
And I want them to grow it, not, just use it. And it's really exciting to see that movement. We're very interested in building that, and would be interested in collaborating with anyone that wants to join.
I love that.
Who would be a good collaborator? Are you looking for schools, parents, community directors? Who are you looking for?
Yeah. So, schools that want to, do cohorts, as well as, community directors, and, I think corporations. That one of the things that we've seen is that it's easy for, corporate people to go and just be in their silo of their company and they're not, back to the community piece, they're not very community involved, right? Because they go to work, they do their work, they manage their family, and
repeat, rinse and repeat.
Right. So they're not ingrained in the community. The community is like, we have all these talented people here that could help us solve all these problems. We can't engage them. And I think those corporations, if they, sponsored cohorts, they would see those kids would come home to the parents and say, look at these things we're working on. And that would open the eyes to all of this amazing talent in the corporate world to say, I didn't know this was going on here, or this was going on. And I think that, back to, again, the golden theme of community, would really help with engagement.
Now, are you looking for these partnerships in your particular area, which would be the generally Sacramento area, or are you looking to expand nationally? Okay. Yeah. Well, I've been having some conversations with Foothill College in the Bay Area. They're looking to kind of do the same thing, and their administration over there is, partnering with a lot of other schools. So maybe we can have a second conversation about that.
Love to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody good?
Everyone's good.
Yeah.
Everyone, take care.
All right, man.
Stay safe.
Walk out music.
Yeah, you go.
Thanks for joining us in Napa.
Did you guys go
Do I
party?
look at the camera? Like,
I know you can
If you could tilt your head a little bit more.
I'm looking. Do I look at her?
It's better that
She's still there.
Me and Brian are just like, is this working?